And for me, I was so excited to be asked to contribute this morning. Mel asked me, and it was just a hell yeah from me for a number of reasons. First of all, I'm a woman. Second, I'm deeply passionate about supporting other women, supporting, connecting, and advancing women, especially women in business. I'm a female entrepreneur. I work with a number of amazing female entrepreneurs, and I'm very proud to have been a CommBank team member for almost 10 years, and half of that time as part of the Women in Focus team, connecting and advancing over 80,000 women in business. I'm also married to a Canadian with a very Canadian name, Dwayne. And we'll be having Vicky beamed in from Toronto, Canada, where I've spent a lot of time. And I'm really connected with this understanding that we all pretty much have. The Canadians and Aussies are pretty much similar. We've got a great sense of humour. We do and are passionate about women in business and entrepreneurship. So I've enjoyed that over the amount of time that I share between the two countries. So that's my hell yeah. I would love everyone just to take a second before we meet Vicky and hear about her hell yeah, just to think about what yours was this morning. What was that opportunity that you were given, and what was that moment where you went, hell yeah, this matters? And connect to that. Because this is an opportunity this morning. This is not a lean back experience. Yeah? Today is an activated experience of radical generosity. And we all get this really rare opportunity this morning to step in or step out. And it's stepping into this unbelievable opportunity to change something. Change something in the area for women that simply doesn't work. So, I'm going to get Kieran. Have we got Vicky? So what I'd love to do is to beam over to Toronto. This won't hurt a bit. Stay where you are. Vicky's joining us, and for the next few minutes, she will be sharing. She'll see you all. Wave to Vicky there. Hi, Vicky. She'll be introducing her hell yeah. So Vicky Saunders is the founder of SheEO. She's very passionate in this area, and she will share that with you. We'll be hearing from Vicky for the next few minutes, and then Vicky's going to join the panel. Well, not physically, but she's going to join the panel here with Lauren Palmer, and we've got Hannah Korchek as well. And then we'll be sharing what their hell yeah is, what the passion is behind what they're doing. Hey Vicky, roll wave to Vicky. She can see us and she can hear us. So without any further ado, I would love to introduce you to and warmly welcome Vicky Saunders, who is the founder of SheEO.
Thank you so much. It's amazing to be able to have technology and beam in from around the world. I just got a ping in my social media feed. I was actually in Australia exactly a year ago on this day, meeting the mayor in Sydney, and here we are a year later and launching in your incredible country. So it's an absolute honor to be here, and thank you very much for inviting me in. When I started SheEO a few years ago in 2015, so many people were deeply confused by the model. A 0% interest loan? How are you going to actually maintain your fund? Not taking equity in these companies? How are you going to get compensated for the value that you're creating? Only investing in ventures that have strong social impact? Are there enough? Trusting the intuition of hundreds of women to pick companies instead of 5 experts in a room looking at the great market potential? Giving the same power to our 14-year-old daughters as to the CFO of one of the biggest banks in the world. One vote, one contribution. And asking the entrepreneurs themselves to allocate the money, having them do due diligence on each other to decide what is the highest and best use of this capital. So many things we're doing are different. And then we only have 12 questions. We loan out money with no collateral on 12 questions. No pitch deck, no attachment, no jargon. So this was, imagine just the beginning of this, talking about, people are like, what is that thing? If you try and fit it in your existing model, it's a very different thing. And here we are 4 years later, the 0% interest loan is a thing, 100% payback rate is a thing, money being loaned out with no collateral, triple-digit revenue growth for all of those ventures. This is the kind of model that women are building in the world right now. And the reason we need to do something like this is because as I love to say, everything's broken. What a great time to be alive. We're living in this place where 5 people have the same wealth as half the planet. We have this crazy accumulation culture where none of us think that we have enough, and we have to hold on to everything we have, and everything is optimized for greed and growth, as opposed to for well-being and inclusion. Like, imagine how we could redesign this world. And so I sort of stepped back, and the why for me around this is very strong. I'm a female entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I'm absolutely unemployable by anyone else ever. And yeah, lots of resonance around that. And I just thought, the way that we see women run businesses, and most people run businesses, highly capital efficient, get to profitability really quickly. Almost all of us are doing this to create a better world. We didn't sit down and go, how do I make as much money as possible and exploit a market niche? That's not how most of these things started. They started with like a real problem-solving approach, and then the money followed. So if you look at all the things as assets instead of deficits, like right now, if you get to profitability quickly, we have a narrative in the world that you're just not dreaming big enough. What if you looked at all those things as assets? Then the kind of thing that you look at is that we really don't need equity-based financing for most of the businesses that we're running. We need loans, we need customers, we need access to connections, and we need expertise just in time. And so I looked at all of the ways women are running businesses as an asset and designed a new ecosystem around this. And it's just been an incredible experience to kind of watch it grow. We have, just imagine being surrounded by radically generous women who have your back and in an instant are supporting you when you ask for help. And so I can't see you do this right now, but I'd like to just go around the room and say, how many people in the room would help someone if they asked you right now? Could you put your hands up? And I'm guessing all the hands are up. Is that true? Okay, good. And now, how many people love asking for help? Yeah, I mean, so very few hands up, is that correct? You know, I think one of the things that we noticed early on is that all of those people that had their hand up are robbed of an experience to help you if you don't ask for help. And most of us don't ask for help because we think, oh, she's too busy, or she said that she'd help me, but I should probably know how to do this. All of those voices in your head. But what if we actually created an environment where it was very safe to ask for help, you were encouraged to ask for help, and all of us could share our gifts? And so instead of this narrative of an entrepreneur has to be everything themselves, has to know how to do everything, work 24/7, put their head down on their own, imagine that you literally have everything you need around you. And in our network at SheEO, this is starting to become a really tangible thing. You are one step removed from whatever you need. As one of the activators in the network who contributes capital, if you ask for help, there's someone in the network who can help you. We are one step removed from whoever you need. And for the ventures that are looking for help to grow their businesses from all of that, we all have different things to offer. We have a venture who is in New Zealand, SheEO. Then she was coming to Australia and she asked, hey, could anybody help make connections for me? And somebody locally made connections. All this is happening in this offline community. It's very, very vibrant, and it's just getting started. We're in 4 countries. We'll be adding another 4 or so next year. Our goal is to get to 1 million activators as soon as possible in a $1 billion perpetual fund. With this 100% payback rate we have, this money is just going to keep rolling forward and supporting ventures for years and years to come, and we get to leave this as a legacy. And in every country so far, we haven't really gotten beyond 500 activators at a time. And Julie Trell and the incredible group of super activators you have in Australia, I think, like, I've never really quite felt the tingling around this, but I feel like Australia is going to be the first country to get to 1,000. And so this would be just such an amazing opportunity for you to really lead around this. We see you came out of the gate so quickly with so much energy in all different parts of Australia. And one of the first super activator calls that happened, Julie created a competition around this, or somebody created a competition of whoever gets the most activators in their region gets to host the summit, which is this wonderful gathering that we have in April, where we announce the mentors that are selected, and you get to meet everybody in person and start to help each other. So I'm just absolutely thrilled to be in Australia. I'm thrilled that this model is starting to roll out around the world. We literally have had every single country in the world reach out to replicate this model and say they want it. The craziest one was a few weeks ago, Siberia. I mean, I have no idea how these things happen. But we had a woman who emailed us on Facebook, and she said, I am the first female blacksmith in Siberia, and I love SheEO. Can you come here, and what do I need to do to get you here? So it's really, there's energy around this idea everywhere, and I think it's partly because we know that we have everything that we need to support each other on our own terms, with very patient capital, with incredible kick-ass women from all over the world coming together to support each other. It's our time. We need a new model, and I'm very, very grateful to be here, so thank you.
Oh. Very warmly, Thank you, Vicky. And before we have our amazing panel up on stage, if everyone has got their phone, it's SheEO.world. So SheEO.world, and on the home screen, you've got 3 options that you can slide between. The first option, and very important, is become an activator today. You're 2 clicks away. That's it. 2 clicks away. So if you don't have your phone now, remember to do that today. And we've got 2 hashtags active today. The first one could be a really lucrative one for you. It's hashtag SheEO Oz AUS 18. So SheEO AUS 18, because we'll be monitoring what you're posting across the next week until the close of business on Friday. And we'll be randomly picking someone who will get a Google Home. Hey. So use this one. We've also got, obviously, radical generosity. So watch the hashtags as you listen and become involved. Again, it's not a lean back experience this morning. So just for one moment, we'll be, do we have the slide? Yeah.
Can we still have Vicky up there?
We'll have both, I think.
Okay.
We'll see. Thank you, Karen. A hand for Karen. All right, I think we'll have Vicky. Yep. So we'll change over, actually. Thanks. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce and ask to come to the stage Lauren Palmer from CBA Innovation Lab, our senior manager there. And Hannah Kortek, who is from Love to Dream. Don't you just love that, Love to Dream? And we've got Vicky on the corner there. So, I will hand this microphone to yourself, Lauren. We've heard from Vicky about her hell yeah, and a little bit more about what she's passionate about. We'd love to hear a little bit more about what you do at CBA Innovation Lab, your passion and your hell yeah this morning.
Sure. So I was talking with my husband about this last night. Is it possible to be passionate about doing laundry?
Yeah.
Okay. So my hell yeah this morning is being here with this amazing bunch of women and a couple of very brave guys. And just being invited to be involved, again like Nick, my background goes back to Women in Focus. So I've been at the bank a while now, and my first role here was working with amazing women entrepreneurs, and now I work in the Innovation Lab. And something I feel extremely passionate about is storytelling, and that goes back to my childhood. So things like this morning just make me so excited and happy to be here and see where we go from today.
And Hannah, what's your hell yeah? And a little bit about Love to Dream.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. I am the founder of Love to Dream, and what we do is we create garments that help babies sleep. And my journey began 9 years ago when I had, 10 years ago when I had my little boy who did not sleep for more than 45 minutes at a time. And it was hell on earth. And I don't think I'm over it still, actually. And anyway, I created a product called Swaddle Up, which allowed him to be swaddled with his arms up instead of across his body. And he slept better. And to date, more than 8 million babies have slept better because of Love to Dream products. And my hell yeah is actually restoring sanity to a new parent's life every single day, because it is really devastating. Mental health, your relationships, everything kind of goes down the gurgler when you have a baby, and no one really talks about that. So the fact that we can make a difference and help these babies sleep better is my why.
And we'll stay with you, Hannah, because talking about, that's a transformative experience. It really is. It changes the experience of a family's life. But 9 years, wow, that's a hard slog. So 9 years, you would have seen a lot. You would have seen a lot change being a female entrepreneur, from startup all the way through to where you are now and where you're heading. What have been some of those barriers for you? And in saying that and sharing those, what would have the supportive radical generosity been like in some of those hurdles for you?
I think the very beginning was the hardest, actually, because no one, I remember saying to my husband, I want to give people money and they never call me back. So Officeworks, I needed to buy stationery, they didn't call me back. Australia Post didn't call me back. The fabric suppliers didn't call me back. I had to chase and chase and chase to place orders. Also, the baby industry was new for me. I came out of fashion, so I didn't understand the margins, I didn't understand anything. And I would have loved to be able to call on a network like SheEO to just go, guys, you know, gosh, what are the margins in this industry, and do I charge customers freight, and all those things that I kind of had to work out myself.
Yeah, and it's not about so much the funding, it's about the full support. And I can see Vicky just passionately nodding there. And Vicky, on that, what were you seeing in Canada, I guess, well before 2015? What are the similarities from what Hannah's saying to drive your hell yeah?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, the statistics have been so bad about how hard it is to get funded as a female entrepreneur that most entrepreneurs don't even bother trying, right? So you sort of keep your business small, put your head down, feel alone most of the time, and just work really, really hard. And I think a lot of us just get stuck, and our businesses are small and they have great capacity to grow. And so part of the thing is, you know, getting surrounded by other people who can help you. And I think, you know, most of us live in scarcity. Like, I lived in scarcity before I started SheEO and didn't really realize I had everything around me. And then I sort of built that muscle over time. And to watch an entrepreneur like Skipper Otto in our network, who has a sustainable fishery, who had, I think, about 1,200 customers when she came into our network. She has like a community-supported agriculture model for fish. So you buy an amount of fish that you want to have for the year, and she knows exactly how much the fishermen need to go out and fish, and then they ship it directly to you. Sustainably caught, appropriately labeled fish. And when she came to our first event, I said, so, you know, what's your ask for the network? And she goes, oh, I mean, it would be great if I could get, I don't know, 40 new customers. And I'm like, 40? What? But for her, like, dreaming was not a muscle that she'd really built. And when she got, you know, 200 new customers, she was like, oh my God, I can't believe that. This is all out there. And so she just kind of got bolder and bolder each year as she realized she had everything around her, but she just had never had that experience before. So she didn't sort of dream and ask for bigger and bigger things. And so we sort of noticed this emboldening that starts to happen in the network. And that's it's just been, like, that was my dream that I hoped that would happen, but to actually see it go is just amazing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's that when we do start out, and anything, it doesn't have to be entrepreneurship, but it's slowing down that what if and looking around at what is. And really starting there, I think, is one of the magic moments when you just realise that. And it's not out there somewhere and unattainable, it's here, and it's just an ask away, is really that. And launching any concept into any market at any time is courageous. And I know, Lauren, you've seen hundreds of people come through the doors of CBA Innovation Lab and in the garages, in the trenches. What have you seen, I guess, over your time that are those common elements for success, maybe just one or two, those common elements for success of launching any concept into any market, let alone across the world?
Yeah, sure, that's a great question. And we're so lucky at CommBank to have the Innovation Lab where we can test these ideas and bring people together. And I'm sure in the early days of your business, if you'd had access to something like that, it would have really helped you. And internally as well. So when we're trying to launch new products, having a space where we can get people in and test with customers very early on has been incredibly impactful for the bank and also our customers. So a couple of things that I think are really important for the success we've seen. The first one is testing with customers, and Vicky and Hannah have both mentioned reaching out to a network. So with the customer piece, if you have an idea, if you can reach out to people and ask them for feedback early days before you go and spend money on developing, that can really help you. If you can bring together a few people, so for Hannah, I'm sure you did this with your friends, you tested and you got them to test your product. But you don't have to have a physical thing, you can actually have a piece of paper or a storyboard or something like that. But getting that feedback really, really early is so powerful, and being open to the feedback as well. So having a mindset of learning and really being open to it. Also, and this is something that all three of you have mentioned already, your network. So research has shown that women aren't as good, unfortunately, at nurturing a network that can give back to them. And we all didn't put our hands up and say that we like asking for help, because we don't like asking people for anything. But when someone asks me for help, I get so excited. It actually gives me a massive buzz. I get a dopamine high if I can help someone. So think about yourself. We're all innately generous. If someone asks you for help, you're often, you'll go out of your way to do something for them. So one of the things I've noticed working at Women in Focus and in the Innovation Lab is the people who are really leaning on their networks and nurturing them are doing really well. So if you're taking part in the Telstra Business Women's Awards, and you're getting involved in SheEO and you're getting involved in Women in Focus, then you're more likely to have success because you're building out that network that can give back to you when you need it.
Perfect. Hannah, how was your network? And how involved, how important was that, your network and leaning on them in the early days?
I really didn't have one, which was quite difficult, obviously, because winging it all the way. I think that something that so Love to Dream exports to 45 countries around the world now. And I think you asked me earlier, how's China? And we've just started exporting to China, and we waited a long time to enter that market because it's so complicated, and we really needed an amazing partner to partner with. And what I realised pretty quickly was that the needs of the Chinese mum are totally different to ours, because they've got one child, 2 sets of grandparents and 2 parents to look after that child. So actually they're not that sleep deprived. Which is like, not a problem for us, because that's what the problem we solve. But now we have to look at what is the different problem that we solve. So maybe if I'd had a network like SheEO, they could have told me that earlier.
I might just grab the microphone. That's awesome. A market with very little need there. And Vicky, just on that, we've heard some delightful stories about Siberia and about fish. But are there what's another success story, probably from Canada or the US or across the world, that you can share with us of activating this radical generosity, and how a woman has been able to do that through SheEO?
Sure. So, one of my favorite stories is 21 Toys, and I think you've got a little coupon on your chairs around this.
We do.
This is a woman she invented a toy that teaches empathy. So you play this toy, you get blindfolded, you learn about how to give instructions to each other, you start to really understand through an empathetic lens, what people with different sort of capabilities deal with. And so she had this idea. I wouldn't even really say it was a business when she applied. She had some customers, but she hadn't quite figured out. She was in schools. And one of the women, this incredibly awesome, aggressive, senior woman at a law firm is like, I love this thing, and every single law firm is so bad at empathy, I'm giving them this toy. So she bought them, and she sent them out to the top 5 law firms in Canada. And then she sent them out to the banks because she goes, you guys need to figure this out too. And they tried it out, and then Alana now has huge contracts. She's training 40,000 employees at one of the top banks in Canada. Because one of these activators, who's extremely influential, who's the chief talent officer at her firm, and she's very well regarded in the space, told everyone they needed this. And they tried it and off they go. And I mean, you literally cannot buy something like that as an early stage entrepreneur. And so to have that sort of credible person speaking on your behalf and then being a little bit, ambitious for you before you're even that ambitious yourself is so exciting. And that's from like the venture perspective. And then one of my favorite stories from one of our summits, there were 2 women who were in the washroom washing their hands. And when I saw one of them come out, she goes, oh, you're not going to believe what just happened. So I was washing my hands, I turned to the young woman beside me and I said, so tell me about you, what's up with you? And she said, well, I'm just getting started in my career and I'm going to be interviewing tomorrow at Amex. And the woman looked at her and smiled and said, oh, well, I'm actually the former CEO of Amex, can I help you? And they were both thrilled by that experience. The person who's at that legacy stage really wanting to give back and support, and the young one who's just getting started being part of that community. So this, we have activators so far from ages 14 to 94. So mothers, daughters, grandmothers, all different ages and stages, and we welcome in everybody. If you want to be part of a community and get plugged in, it doesn't matter what age or stage you're at, we think everybody has something to contribute.
Thank you, Vic. It pays to speak to the person next to you in the bathroom.
Yes.
It does. It is that keeping awake and alert and just being connected in the smallest ways is how you build those bigger connections. And you were just mentioning age there, Vicky. It could be a burning question from the audience, not just age, but gender. So we've got some really brave men in the room. We've got some men in the room with us. With being an activator, how can a man become involved in the support and groundswell? Because we know we need everybody on board.
Absolutely, and we would be very happy to take your money. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, and we would just ask that if you would please put a name of a woman forward. So what women do you know in your network who could really benefit from being part of this community? And please send their name through. And then we want to have all women voting for the kinds of companies that they want to see in the world. And so we'd be very, very grateful if you would share the word and sponsor people to come into the network.
That's fantastic. So everyone's involved. What we might do is